All right, so today we're talking about literal equations. And the first question we have is, what is the literal equation? So that would be our essential question. So that's our essential question. What is the literal equation? So a literal equation is an equation with several variables. Remember, variables in math are letters. Okay. You will solve for one of those variables. So our I can is we're going to be able to solve, once we finish this lesson, we'll be able to solve for a variable in a literal equation. All right. Sorry about my A's and my O's. Okay. So we can solve literal equations. We can solve literal equations the same way that we solve one-step or two-step equation. We use inverse operations. Remember, inverse means the opposite. So we always do the opposite of what it says. So right now we have 4x plus 3y equals 6. And on this side it says solve for x. Okay. So that means we need to get everything right here away from 4x. Okay. Before we can solve. So the inverse of, let me write it down here. So I have 4x plus 3y equals 6. Okay, now again, we need to solve for x. So that means the first thing we need to do is get rid of this 3y. And the inverse of a positive 3y is subtract 3y. We want to do it on both sides of the equal sign. So 3y minus 3y cancels out. Okay, now we have 4x equals negative 3y plus 6, because we cannot combine these two numbers because the 6 doesn't have a y on it. And we say plus because it's a positive 6. Okay, so no y, and it's a positive 6. Okay, now we should know that 4 and x are multiplying. Anytime a variable is touching a number or another variable, that means it's multiplying. So the inverse of multiplying is dividing. So we want to divide everything by 4. So 4x divided by 4 cancels out, leaving us just with x equals, and we're going to leave this as negative 3y over 4. And then here we have a 6 and a 4, but we can reduce this by dividing both numbers by 2. So 6 divided by 2 gives us 3. And 4 divided by 2 gives us 2. So this is our answer for the first one. Okay, we just moved everything away from x. So now this one says we need to solve for y. Okay, which means we got to get 3y by itself first. And we need to get rid of this 4x. It's a positive 4x. So we need to subtract 4x on both sides. So this cancels out, leaving me with 3y equals, these do not combine because 6 doesn't have an x on it. So we have a negative 4x plus 6. Now, 3 and y are multiplying, so the opposite of multiplying is dividing. They want to divide everything by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is just y. It's really 1, but we never put a 1 in front of a variable. Alright? Well, you can, but we don't. This right here is already simplified. So we got 4 over 3x. And 6 divided by 3 gives us a positive 2. There's our answer for that question. So let's go down and solve for our 3 questions we have. So the first one says we need to solve for y. Okay, we see y right here. And we can't do anything to that b until we get everything on that equal side away from the y. So we have a positive ax. So we need to subtract ax from both sides. So ax minus ax, and I know it sounds strange that we're subtracting variables, letters, but we do in math, equals, let's bring that by down, equals negative ax plus c. And we got to remember that negative ax and c don't combine because they're not the same variables. Okay, now in order to get rid of that b, remember b and y are multiplying, so the inverse of multiplying is dividing. So this b goes away, and now our answer is y equals negative ax over b plus c over b. So let's move up to the next question. And we have to solve for x, but we have to simplify it to solve it. So we have a distributive property. In order to simplify it, we need to get rid of the parentheses. So 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 2y is positive 2y equals 4. And again, we're trying to solve for x. Before we do anything with that 3, we got to get rid of everything else on that same side of the equal sign. So we have a positive 2y. The inverse of positive 2y is negative 2y. So these cancel out because 2 minus 2 is 0. We can bring that 3x down. And we have a negative 2y plus 4. Now remember, we cannot combine these two because that 4 doesn't have a y on it. So 3 and x are multiplying. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. So these cancel out because 3 divided by 3 is 1. That leaves us with x equals negative 2y divided by 3 plus 4 over 3. And that's our answer. And it can't be any simpler. You know, we can't simplify it anymore. We can, but then it'll be decimals, and we really don't want to deal with decimals when dealing with this. Oh, I messed this one up. Let me go back and redo it. Sorry. I didn't distribute all the way through. So I have a 3x plus 2 times 3 is 6y. I think I just put 3y last time equals 4. So we need to solve for x. Let's remove that 6y from both sides. Sorry. 6y cancels out. Now I have 3x equals negative 6y plus 4. Let me erase this as an answer over here. So now divide both sides by 3. Threes cancel out. 6 divided by 3 is a negative 2y. And I have plus 4 over 3. See, even sometimes I mess up. Hopefully y'all caught it before I did. So now we have to solve for y again. Number 3. Now, I know we see the parentheses, but we can get rid of this 3 over 4 by doing the inverse, which is 4 over 3. And we need to do it to both sides. We want to multiply it. So these cancel out, leaving me with 2x plus y equals 1 times 4 is 4, and 2 times 3 is 6. So we need to solve for y. So all we need to do is subtract this 2x from both sides. This cancels out, leaving us with y equals negative 2x plus 4 over 6. And 4 over 6 can be simplified because you can divide 2 into both of these. So y equals negative 2x. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So, have any questions, make sure you let me know. These notes are to be used on Tuesday's work. So make sure when you have the Tuesday's worksheet, that's probably 1 through 8, that you use your notes to help you out. If you have any questions, make sure you contact me.